What's up, legends? Benchmark Bets is back, and I've locked in 2 NBA picks. But that's not all. I'll take you through some leans that I like in today's slate. So buckle up, I've done the homework. Let's hit these and stack these wins. Before we get into today's picks, just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. To all the people that have hit my 50 subscriber mark, thank you. I genuinely appreciate the support. It means a lot and it doesn't go unnoticed. Now let's do a quick little recap for yesterday's picks. So yesterday we finished 1-1 with Joel Embiid over 25.5 points. Finished with 30 plus points. Didn't even need overtime. That one was an easy cash. Then we had Lauri Markkanen over 26.5 points. He finished on 22. But honestly, the Jazz played terribly and got absolutely destroyed by the Blazers. Just one of those games where the script never even had a chance. Definitely didn't expect the Jazz to lose to the Blazers by that much. With that said, our leans have been doing very well. Pretty sure I hit 10 out of the 14 leans and picks. So make sure you're staying tuned for those. They've been doing very, very well. So with that all said, premium was pretty decent yesterday. We ended the day with 0.78 units up. However, that could have been a lot more better if Markkanen got those 26.5 points. Anyways, let's get into today's picks. So, with the first pick, I am going to the Lakers versus Pelicans game, and I'm going with Zion Williamson over 24.5 points. So, Zion thrives in isolation plays and also scores most of his points in the paint, where the Lakers give up the 9th most points to isolation, and also over the last 15 they've been giving up the 10th most points in the paint. So when you look at matchups when you look at favorable matchups for isolation, he's over this line 100% of the time, averaging 27.3 points. And also when you look at decent points in the paints matchup, he is over this line in 5 out of 9 games, averaging 25 points. Also, the bookies are expecting a high game total in this game. That only helps Zion, and I'm expecting him to capitalize big time here. So, with the second pick, going to the last game of the day with the Mavs and Kings, and I'm going with Anthony Davis over 24.5 points. So Davis scores around 60% of his points in the paint and also loves to score from pick and roll, man plays, and also from free throws and transition and post up, where the Kings leak a heap of points. So when you look at points in the paint allowed, he's only over this line in 2 out of 4 games, averaging 22.5. However, over the last 15, they've been smashing it, giving up the 3rd most amount of points in the paint. And in that time period, Davis has been averaging 26 points per game, going over this line in 3 out of 4 games. Once again, another high game total here. I can see Davis getting busy, very busy here. And on top of that, 6 out of the last 8 players have gone over their line with a 4-point average difference from their line compared to their final result. Really love this spot. So that's it for the main picks. Now let's look through some leans that I have. So let's go to the first game with the Cavs versus the Pacers. And I'm liking Aaron Naismith over 16.5 points. He has a pretty solid matchup here. The Cavs love to give up points to spot-up shooters and also to catch-and-shoot plays, and also above the 3, Naismith thrives on. With Mathurin out, he's over this line in 6 out of 10 games, averaging 17.5, so I could definitely see an uptick in Naismith's scoring abilities tomorrow. 16.5 points seems like a low line, and you should definitely cash this with ease. Had a look at the Cavs players, nothing I really liked. I was tossing up between Jarrett Allen and also Evan Mobley because they leak heaps of points in the paint. However, Don't know who's going to score the points between those two, so stayed away. Was also looking at Darius Garland's assists. 8.5 seems like a high line, and also I haven't been giving up as many assists over the last 15 as I would have hoped to, so stayed away from those two. Then I went to the next game, the Magic versus the Wizards, and I had a few plays I liked here. So, Bilal Koulibaly over 4.5 rebounds. So, Deontay George, Cam Whitmore, and also Corey Kispert are all ruled out. And as you can see, he's over this line in every single game, averaging 7 rebounds. However, not only that, over the last 15, the Magic have been giving up the 3rd most rebounds and also the 2nd most defensive rebounds, where Koulibaly likes to get most of his rebounds from. Also, in these games, also in recent games actually, he's been averaging 9.3 rebound chances, and in his last 10 games, he's been averaging 10.5 rebound chances, so I can definitely see him getting 4.5 rebounds pretty easily. It is pretty juiced, so you could definitely play the 6 rebounds. Hit rate isn't the best, but I can definitely see the upside of him getting those rebounds today. I also don't mind his points prop as well. He has been scoring the ball pretty well over his last 10 games, and also he's been getting some pretty decent shots in those last 10 games, and also his minutes are pretty solidified as well. So, that is Bilal Koulibaly, and I was also liking Wendell Carter Jr. for over 13.5 points. However, the thing that I don't like about this the most is that over the last 15 games, the Wizards have only been giving up the 13th fewest points in the paint, where Wendell Carter loves to score his points from. So, was a bit hesitant on this. I do like it, just depends on how everything is going to go. Compared to the next player that I'm going to look at is Anthony Black, over 20.5 points. Yes, this is his highest line for the season. However, without Wagner and Suggs, he has been smashing it. Not only does he score points in the paint, he also loves to score points from the 3, where he has been doing very, very well. Was looking at his over 1.5 3-pointers, however, it's very heavily juiced. So the bookies are definitely expecting him to score 2 3-pointers. So when Black has scored 2 3-pointers, he's over this line in 6 out of 7 games, averaging 25.6 points. So definitely see a huge upside with Black here. Could even play his 25 points as well. It'll be a nice little juicy leg to play. That was pretty much it for the Magic and the Washington Wizards game. So the next one I was looking at is the Spurs and the Grizzlies. Only found one thing I really liked here, was for Julian Champagnie over 5.5 rebounds. So, over the last 15 games, the Grizzlies have been giving up rebounds, not leaking them, but have been pretty decent. So, when you look at his rebounds against teams that are in the middle of the pack, he's over this line in 9 out of 16 games, averaging 6.1 rebounds. So this line is pretty much where it should be. However, I can still definitely see him getting the 5.5 rebounds. Also, Wemby should be back. However, he should be playing off the bench. So Champagnie to get those rebounds is still very, very good. I was looking at Keldon Johnson's rebounds. However, with Wemby in the lineup, it's not as good as what it is without. So if Wemby doesn't play, and he does get ruled out, then I definitely will be going with Keldon Johnson over 5.5 rebounds. So that was pretty much it for the Spurs and the Grizzlies game. So in the Heat and the Wolves, didn't really like anything here. Nothing really stood out for me. So with the Lakers and the Pelicans game, obviously I have the Zion Williamson play. But another one I was looking at is Jake LaRavia over 13.5 points. So Reeves and Hachimura are both ruled out, and he has definitely seen an uptick in pretty much everything. So his points, rebounds, and assists. He does have a very soft matchup today. The Pelicans give up the seventh most points to spot-up shooters and the most points to transition plays, and also the second most points within the paint. Over the last 15 games, they have been giving up the third most points in the paint. So I can definitely see Laravia going over 13.5. Could even see 20 and a 25 piece from him. So a nice little ladder play for him today. That was pretty much it in the Lakers and the Pelicans game. And then for the last game of the night, obviously had the Anthony Davis play. I was looking at Zach LaVine over 20.5 points. He does love to score in the paint, where the Mavs have been giving up the most amount of points. So when you look at favorable matchups, he's over this line in 3 out of 4 games, averaging 30.5 points. However, over his last 3 games, he has been shooting pretty poorly. So I was a bit hesitant on this, but I could change my mind closer to the game. But yeah, that was pretty much it for today's picks and leans. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your favorite play in the comments. Until next time, stay safe, good luck with your bets, and I'll catch you in the next video. Laters.